Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Hello, and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and today's episode is part 2 of my interview with romance author, Washington Post columnist, and podcaster Sarah MacLean. In this portion of the episode, we'll be reviewing the novella Loving the Secret Billionaire by Adriana Anders. It is currently $2.99 on Amazon, and I couldn't have been more honored to discuss this politically arousing book with Sarah. So, as you'll soon hear, and as you've heard in the previous episode, I was super fangirling, or fan-womaning, as I like to say. And so I completely skipped describing the cover when we covered the cover. So basically, to give you a description, it's an action shot of a man with, I'm going to say, a 7 o'clock shadow, and with a really subtle, seductive grin that I guess is like en route to being a smile. He's shirtless, and holy shit, those abs, and he is in the middle of putting on a flannel shirt. So now that that's out of the way, please enjoy this review of Loving the Secret Billionaire. We are about to review an adorable novella.
It's so good. I'm so glad you asked me, because I do know, I've listened to a couple of episodes, and I know, I know it's hard. There's a lot under $5 that has to be sort of, you have to weed through some stuff.
You do. And sometimes I don't and get stuck with a book. Still very enjoyable to read, I will say. But, the quality,
Sure.
is makes it maybe a little more arduous than it could be, I suppose. But,
yeah. Well, can I just give a plug? A Rogue by Any Other Name, which I wrote, it's the first book in my Casino series. Mm-hmm. A lot of men read this series. They like it. It's $2.99 on Kindle always. So.
Oh, nice. Well, I am going to purchase that right after we're done recording. Thank you for
I'm
the
not
plug.
sure I want you to do a podcast about it, but,
Okay. All right. I'm still going to read it.
It might scar me.
No, oh my God. No. We would love it, first of all. Okay, so the book you and I are reviewing today is Loving the Secret Billionaire by Adriana Anders. It is the first book in the Love at Last series, and it's currently $2.99. And here's a quick synopsis. The beautiful and compassionate Veronica Cruz is running for city council, and when she canvasses at the front door of the elusive and handsome Zach Horde, she easily gets his vote and his V card.
I don't want to do a second tagline because Get His Vote and his V card is the tagline.
I know. I guess. Yeah. I can't believe you're the one who's like, I can't do this. And I'm like, oh my God.
I can't do it better than Adriana has already done it, is my point.
True. Good point. Yes. But do you want to look at the cover first? Because sometimes we like to just analyze the cover a little bit.
Look at the cover. I'm going to pull it up.
Okay. All right. So curious to hear your thoughts about this cover.
I know that this is so let me tell you, Adriana originally wrote this story. Here's the backstory of this. I don't know Adriana very well, but I have to know the backstory of this story because I love it so much. Mm-hmm. Adriana wrote this story originally it was a short novella. It was a short, much shorter than what it is now. Mm-hmm. And she wrote it as part of the Rogue, I forget what they're called. It's like the Rogue anthology. A bunch of authors after the election, speaking of politics, mm-hmm. Came together and they decided that they were going to put together a group of political romantic shorts, with percentages of the proceeds going to political action organizations. And Adriana wrote this in a shorter version for that anthology, the Rogue anthology. And then they obviously got their stories back or whatever, the rights back. And so she lengthened it and put it out as a novella. So, I mean, this cover does not do What's Inside Justice.
I agree.
But I'm not sure how I would change it. I mean, this is sort of a classic self-publishing cover. Mm-hmm. And also the title is a great title for e-readers. Loving the Secret Billionaire is real tacky in the sense of like, and I mean that in like a sticky sense. Like if I love a billionaire book, I'm gonna want this book. And for your listeners who do not understand romance, like Loving the Secret Billionaire ticks a lot of boxes, right? Uh-huh. We talk a lot in romance about id. Like there are books that really scratch an itch. And for a lot of people, billionaires are that itch, right? Mm-hmm. Like they'll read any billionaire book. They'll read any Duke book. They'll read any book that's forced proximity or whatever. Mm-hmm. And this sort of tells that story very, very, this sort of title does the work, the heavy lifting here.
Sure, absolutely. Because I figured this was a stock photo. Sure. I think, because I'm not entirely sure about, like when an author gets a stock photo, like, because for me, my issue with the picture of the guy is that there's too much natural light. And I thought, oh, here's the guy who like lives in darkness. He like doesn't leave the, lights on in his house. This seems so bright. Like when someone gets a stock photo, can they like adjust it a little bit to?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm sure they can. So this goes back to this question of like romance and marketing and like it's such a full landscape of books, right? Like how do you stand out in a crowd? Mm-hmm. You don't see white very often. Mm-hmm. As a cover choice, like as a cover color. I'm with you that he lives in the darkness, but like, he's putting that on after sex. Sex has brought the light.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Sure. Yeah. I just pictured, oh my God, because there's one line that was the best line I've ever read was, I stopped mid push-up when the doorbell rang, or like something like that. So I'm thinking this is his scene. He was doing push-ups. Veronica's at the door, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sweaty. I got to put my shirt on." And I love an action shot. Is my point. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, but he's like that's a strong jaw.
Oh yeah.
So this man clearly works out. Mm-hmm. I've seen worse.
Wait, what's worse? Because I've loved every cover I've ever seen.
I've seen worse than this. Uh-huh. I mean, for me, I will tell you, I bought this. I one-clicked this book when I saw the title and read that he was a blind billionaire, mm-hmm. hacker, virgin, recluse.
So many labels. Yes, I love it.
I want all of those things. I did not know I wanted that, but now I want that.
Yeah.
And I read it in one sitting in like an hour because I was so obsessed with it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
can we talk about the male virgin trope? Because that was like my main question for you is I've only read one other book where the billionaire was a virgin, but it was, while very fun to read, self-published, typos, that kind of like level.
It didn't work for you.
It didn't work for me, but man, I still gave it a good review on my blog because like I was like, the author tried. You know what I mean? There was a good premise.
I gotta say this. I bet that if you went to Amazon and you put in the search box like virgin billionaire romance, you would probably get 8 to 10 pages of results. Because virgin heroes are a thing.
Wow, like male virgin.
Yeah, male virgins, virgin heroes are a thing. They are not a huge, they are not a huge thing. They are not like, they're not like dukes. I mean,
right.
Dukes are a real thing. But virgin heroes are like, they're a kink, right? They scratch an itch for a lot of readers. And if you can do it well, because there's a tricky thing here, right? Because you want, if virgin heroes scratch your itch, then what they are telling you, you don't necessarily want a hero who's any of the sort of stereotypical things that a virgin might be. And I think what Adriana does very well here, right? So the biggest problem with virginity and a hero is that like virgins aren't great at sex, right? Like they're new to it. They're good learners, maybe, but they're not like, savants. I mean, well, in romance, they often are savants. But that's a hard thing to sort of wrap your head around. And there's a ton to unpack about, gender roles and patriarchy and et cetera. But like, if you put a female virgin on the page and she doesn't know anything, and I know this because I write historicals, and so I've written my fair share of virgins, and she doesn't have any sense of how sex works. Like you can then use the hero as like a sort of strong, caring alpha type to sort of walk her through it and show her like, and sort of unlock her, so to speak. That doesn't work as well in the reverse. And what I would say is it works incredibly well for very good writers. But like for writers who maybe aren't as good, that's a tough thing to do, to like put a hero on the page who's like this guy putting on his flannel after doing push-ups and say, he's also a virgin and going to learn how to sex. But that's also not what Adriana is doing here. And I think that's what's really fascinating is like, she's written so first of all, what I love is that he is blind and a hacker, right? And he lives like in this dark house in the woods with his like Arrow, speaking of comics, like his Arrow style like technology room. He's like Bruce Wayne down there.
Yeah.
And he is so like he's had lots of relationships with women online, right? So he is like an epic dirty talker.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is great. And he's done all the research. Like he knows all the right buttons to push.
Right. Yeah.
He just needs her to like lead him down the garden path.
Right. Yeah. I loved that because there was like one thing, it was just like really nice. I was like expecting him to say sorry all the time during their sex scenes, and he didn't say sorry once. And I was like, I love this.
No, I mean, obviously like that, it breaks the fantasy a little bit if like the sex is terrible.
Right.
But again, like there are some writers. There's a woman named Susan Elizabeth Phillips who's been writing contemporaries for, almost 30 years. And nobody writes bad sex the way Susan writes bad sex. It's terrific. Like her bad sex is delightful to read. But there are, it's tough to write bad sex. When the covenant between the writer and the reader in romance is, you're going to enjoy this. But, I think virgin heroes are really great. And I think I think you find them I think in the hands of great authors, like they can be really entertaining. I think they can be really, I think Zach is a particularly fascinating hero, and in part because of his virginity.
Yeah, I also liked him because I think he has such an interesting arc. Like, he has this, like, arc of falling in love with a woman, but he also has this, like, arc of, like, I don't want to say agoraphobic. I don't want to, like, label him as that, but, like, leaving his home and, like, getting out in the world and participating in the world, which I found very moving.
Yeah. I mean, there's the moment, it's one of my sort of favorite moments where at the end, so he's also blind. And Adriana often writes heroes who have I've read all of the things she's written, I think. And her heroes she does not shy away from writing a hero who either has a disability or like who is, really in a place. And it's never a situation where from the outside you would think of them as being in a place, but like they're very keenly, her heroes are all very aware of their bodies in really interesting ways, and like very concerned about the state of their bodies, which I think is really fascinating, because when you think about romance, all the romances you've read, surely the men have been like pillars of masculinity and, perfection, like Greek statues, right? And in Adriana's case, like even the sort of Zach is like big and muscular and dreamy, but he is keenly aware of his own limitations, which are not limitations in any way. I mean, like Veronica and we are both sort of totally not. He's a god among men, right? Like there are no limitations here, but his doubt is so packed into his blindness and his whatever it is that's keeping him inside the house. And when he finally unpacks or unveils for her why that is, it's a really powerful emotional scene where, he in fact professes his love to her. And then he's like, that was weird. I'm a weirdo. I'm going to tell you my story. And it's really, I love how Adriana sort of like always flips the script on this with her heroes.
Yeah. There was one moment that I found that like really struck an emotional chord with me, is that Zach and Veronica get in a fight. We find out that he has done some hacking that is affected. Veronica's running for city council. Zach did something that kind of affected, or no, what did he do? He hacked into her opponent and like, uncovered that he was embezzling. And Veronica goes to his house and like confronts him, and she storms out, and Zach wants to follow her, but he doesn't. And he felt a sense of relief that he didn't have to, even though like ideally he wanted to. And the fact that she put that in felt so like, I don't know. I just like felt his like conflict more so than like, other, I don't know. There were just like layers to that regret that I felt very human,
Yeah. There's something incredibly authentic about both characters, right?
Yeah.
There's in the hands of a lesser author, something like Zach's manipulation of the election, or like manipulation of the, he doesn't, it's complicated, but like exactly what is perceived as Zach's like manipulation could feel like really shitty, like not a great place to begin a relationship, but also like could also feel like, oh, what a heroic act. And Adriana does not let him off the hook.
Yeah. Right?
Like she lets him stand there in his wrongness and be wrong, for those of you who are West Wing fans. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I also think she's just, she writes, her heroes are always like sort of strong, silent types too. And I think she does that so well. There's so much to love about this book. And I say book because it feels like one. It's really hard. I just wrote my first novella for a Christmas anthology that just came out. And it's hard to write short and actually like pack in nuance and thought and, delight. And she does it so effortlessly.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like thinking like I would love to read this story as a full-length novel. I just think like both of them just had such interesting like personal arcs that like would have been so just like interesting to read like a full length. Even though I love this as a novella, it was such a fun read.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, she's got in the Reindeer game. I know I mentioned this to you in email, but in the Reindeer Games anthology, which is a forced proximity Christmas anthology that just came out, holiday anthology. So, and most of the characters are snowbound because who doesn't love a trapped in a snowstorm?
Oh yeah.
Right. I think that story is called Loving the Wounded Warrior.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not be, but it's called, I think it's called that. And it's a similar situation, except it is a short. So reading it now, in that anthology, I know she's planning to release it, to write it longer and release it later, but that might be a fun project for you. Read it now, read it later.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I agree though. I could read this book. I could read this novella as a novel. I could have it be a movie.
Oh yeah. Oh
I would like all of these. I also want to I want this to be like the story of Veronica. She's basically Alexandra Ocasio.
Yeah.
Ocasio Ortiz. And I want it to be like, I want this whole story to just be like Veronica, the scrappy do-gooder who like becomes mayor of the city and takes down crime.
Yeah, absolutely.
With her bonkers hot boyfriend.
Yeah, who like, because you know how like in every superhero show, there's the person behind the computer, and he's like the computer person, and then she's out there saving the world.
Sure. He's her money penny.
Yes.
Her billionaire money penny. I love that. I love that he's a billionaire. It's just the other thing that's sort of glorious about this, and I think this is, I talk a lot about this, but like, I feel like one of the most important things in romance is that authors not pull their punches, meaning like pack it all in, tell your bonkers story. The best romance novels are the ones that are a little bonkers, like that do sort of push the fantasy sort of straight through the wall. And she does that. She does that in these books. She doesn't do it. It's never silly.
Yeah.
But she's a fearless writer. Mm-hmm. And that is incredibly hard to do and harder every day with like the world the way that it is.
Yeah. This is what I was going to ask you, because like what I loved about Veronica at the end, she asks for an extension in the election so the opposing party can like find a new candidate and she can be elected fairly and squarely. But I'm curious about your thoughts on the trope of like the rich guy just fixing everything for the woman and things get better and better and better. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sure is a great fantasy, right?
Sure. Like, oh, well, yeah.
When 50 Shades of Grey came out, I did a lot of interviews about why journalists were like, why is this a thing? They were all very perplexed by the advent of Christian Grey. And I can't blame them, right? But the reality is that it's tough being female in the world, right? Like, so especially when there's a recession, or in this particular case, like we were coming off an election where I think a lot of women, white women in particular, who had voted for Hillary Clinton and really thought that like, who on earth would ever not, had a sort of very shocking realization about the world that we live in. And so this idea that like a fantasy person would come into your life and like take care of your bills and take care of your career and take care of your the injustices around you, and then also like leave you with a fabulous orgasm and like tell you they love you and hold you at night is a pretty fantastic fantasy. And anybody who doesn't see why isn't really trying.
No.
Right? I mean, like, if given that opportunity, like, we all want that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think, to answer your question, like, on a purely surface level, like, yeah, bring me a fabulous billionaire who is really into like, votes, I don't know, votes super progressive. I do know. Bring me a fabulous billionaire who votes progressive and like gives all his time to like the local animal shelter and also like punches, fascists on his, spare time. And then, also make sure that like everything I want in my life works out great. Yeah, I want that. Bring that to me. At the same time, I think like, to your point, like Veronica sort of stands up for herself and says like, I want that in theory, but in practice, like my husband walked in here and was like, your whole career would be better if, you did more of this podcast. Well, don't tell me what to do, man.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time, by the way.
I'm just picturing your husband being like, how long?
But the point is, like, I don't want my husband to really tell me how to live my life. Like, I want to do that for myself. If he were a billionaire, that would be kind of great.
Well, sure.
Not. Like, call us if you'd like him to be.
I mean, I just like the idea of like billionaire, because I'm thinking like if it said loving the secret millionaire, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't feel so secure in just a millionaire. You have to be a billionaire.
The other day, I actually saw a trillionaire romance.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? Now we're crossing a line.
I didn't even know those exist.
Snatch down romance. No, yeah. I mean, yeah. Billionaire. I mean, billionaires are the new millionaire.
I know. Someone sent me this article. I read the article. I didn't buy the book, but there's now Bitcoin billionaire romances.
Well, I'm sure. There's an everything. There's
That's true.
You guys, there's everything romance. That's the amazing thing about romance. I mean, there's some deep, dark rabbit holes in romance that I don't recommend going down. But like Bitcoin Billionaire, first of all, is a great title.
I think that's the title of the book. Like, yeah.
The alliteration is perfect. A+.
Okay, so now that we're on this tangent, what is the weirdest, like, what was the craziest, like, sub genre that you've ever encountered?
I mean, there are a lot of them. There's, I'm right now, of course, thinking like, oh, well, I really like those books. So there's a writer named Ruby Dixon who writes a series called Ice Planet Barbarians.
I have it. I haven't read it yet.
Have you read them?
I mean, I own it. It's like looking at me on my shelf right now.
Get ready, Becky. Get ready. Because my friend Sophie Jordan, who is a great romance writer, called me one day and she's like, you're going to hate this, but I'm reading this book. It's called Ice Planet Barbarian. And it's about like a group of fertile 20-something-year-olds from America who are like sucked up into abducted into an alien spaceship, which crash lands on a like ice planet. And they are found by these like alien dudes. And I was like, this is insane. And then I read 8 of them in a row. So, there are some weird things. Like there are like reverse harem romances where like and have, scads of men. We went through a period of like stepbrother romances, which now of course feel incredibly tame. But like, I think that's the problem. I think romance is sort of a genre where like the weird stuff, or if it's your kink, I don't want to kink shame. Like if that's your thing, cool, and get it. But that stuff that sort of a lot of us kind of tilt our head at, is, pretty quickly becomes like, oh, well, all right. Well, I guess that's normal now. I guess we have stepbrother romances now. And there is both, it's like the internet, right? Where like the internet is an amazing, amazing thing that every day inspires me and like makes me so happy that I have access to such cool people like you. I wouldn't be here without the internet talking to you. But at the same time, like today I tweeted something about Chris Evans playing Boggle, and now I have like Jason Momoa trolls in my in my mentions, just, threatening me with physical violence. And like, that's not great. I don't love that part of the internet.
That's terrible. Who are these people?
Whatever, who cares? But the point is that like romance is like that too, where like there is some really, I'm so grateful for the like ever expanding universe of romance. But sure, there are corners of it that I prefer not to spend time.
I mean, look, if there's like everything out that we could ever want in romance, you're gonna like spend time and read the stuff that you want and respect the people who read stuff that isn't your cup of tea.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I mean, I read a book a day. So for me, like, there's very little I won't read once. Mm-hmm. For me, like, there's a corner of romance that is about dubious consent. And it's not dubious consent the way that we were talking about before, where, it's dubious consent from the 70s and it's sort of called out on the page. It's dubious consent because that's the kink, right?
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time thinking, like, well, that doesn't feel like romance to me. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't feel heroic. It doesn't feel like, it feels like something else. It feels like it's there for pleasure and for kink, but like, is it really romance? And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I covered one book, Guilty Pleasures by Kitty Thomas, that I think about all the time. And it's basically like a dubious consent novel where like, she's literally kidnapped and forced into like this house where she has like sex with men all the time. And it's like, so if you read it and like had no idea what you're reading, it's like so traumatizing. It kind of ends romantically, but I think about it all the time.
Yeah. And you read it, right?
Yeah.
I also think, a lot of people, I get the question all the time, like, is romance feminist? Which is stupid, and yes, but I think it's feminist. I think romance is feminist, but I think it's feminist in two very specific ways, right? Like there's the subset of romance that is feminist because the stories are feminist and they're about sort of triumph of women and like strong heroines who are like finding parity and partnership, etc. Mm-hmm. And then there's the subset of romance that's about kink and the very fact that female fantasy is centered in it and female kink is honored in it is feminist in itself.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so like there's the text being feminist and then the story being feminist.
Right.
And I think the challenge is that, again, so few people, and like, look, I'm a true nerd. I think about romance novels all the time, all day, every day. So like, I'm not I appreciate no one has the very, very, very few people in the world have the like depth and breadth of understanding and like thought on romance that I do. But I wish people would understand those two things. Like, I wish people would understand that, like, there is a place for both of those books, whether or not, and maybe it doesn't matter if the story is a romance novel or not, like, is a romance or not. Like, maybe that book that you think about all the time, it exists for a different reason.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm kind of fine with that. Like, if you want your one-handed reads, then those reads are great and you should have them. Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm not, like I said, like, have your kink. I'm never going to shame you for it. So,
I don't believe.
I read those Blue Alien books a whole lot, you guys, a whole lot.
I mean, honestly, I think I'm going to like start it tonight.
You should. Becky, the beginning of this book is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then you're there and like, there's a giant blue alien and like, he's like, they're on an ice planet. And then suddenly he's like, oh, she smells good. I'm going to just lick her. And I'm like, what is happening? And then I read like 7 more. I don't
nice.
know. I'm sorry. Well, I've brought the like, yeah, this is a less classy show now that I've been on it.
Oh my God. No, this was less classy the second I started hosting it. So it's fine. So I'm not sure how much time you have left, but sometimes we like to read excerpts. Do you want to read an excerpt? But if you don't have time, totally understandable.
I have a very short excerpt, but it's not a sex excerpt. And I didn't, was it supposed to be a sex excerpt?
No, it can be whatever excerpt you want to read. Okay.
Hang on, I'm going to try and find it. And I'm going to do a short one and then because people are tired of hearing my voice.
No.
Okay. So we're in Zach's point of view, and Veronica is over for like a date, I guess. It's like early in the book. It's midway through the book. So she's over, and she's made a salad. and they're going out onto he's never had women over. Like, he's never had anybody over. And here she is, and like, he has a salad bowl, which is great. And she's made this salad. And he's just so, you're in his point of view, and he's so like all over the place emotionally. So they're in the kitchen, and he is watching her make a salad. And then he says, "This was good. After a lifetime of living life online, I could apparently do this in-person thing just fine. And when I went out back to grill the meat, she followed with our glasses, and something about the partnership of the whole thing squeezed at my chest. This is what it feels like to have someone, but having someone is dangerous when your whole life is a lie. That little voice in my head chose that moment to screw things up for me. It was right, of course, rational, but nothing about my feelings for this woman were rational. The smell of her was my crack. I wanted to bend down, rub my face in her neck, and suck her in. I wanted to push her against the side of the house and feel the rest of her body. Was she big or small? What would her curves feel like under my hands? Christ, I was getting hard just thinking about it. Not a surprise, considering the fantasies I'd played in my head all week. My hands on her, flesh like mine, only softer. I guessed with more give under my fingers. Jesus, Hubler, keep your pants." I flipped the steaks, shut the grill off, and put the top down to let the meat rest before backing up the step. She was a couple of feet away, probably leaning against the railing, staring out at the dark. I set down the tongs and took a step toward her. "Are you okay?" "Yeah." Everything in me settled. This is good. I'm doing it right.
So great.
I love it. I love it. So like, I love that there's like a little bit of consent packed in there. He's concerned about her. Like, he's into her. He's thinking about sex because of course he is. And then at the same time, he's like, I'm so bad at this. Right. But it feels so good. I love it. I love it.
It makes him so dynamic. And also their makeout scene on the porch was super hot after that.
Yeah, A+. This does lead into a pretty solid makeout scene.
It was one of like my favorite, because I was like, oh, they're gonna like fuck on the porch, but then they didn't, and I thought it was hotter that they just made out.
Yeah, agreed. See, that's what you asked. Like,
yeah.
Does the sex have to be sexy? And yes, it does if it's on the page, but it doesn't have to be there.
No.
It is in this book, though. Man, she writes great sex scenes.
She does. And the part that I chose that I wanted to read was actually in the epilogue because I really liked it. So in the epilogue, she's one and she's pregnant, and so they're just in their house. They're just in his beautiful house that's in the woods.
The lights are on now.
The lights are on now. So yeah, okay. So they're just like in the kitchen, and then he nipped me, and I had to lean into him for just a second or two before my phone rang. Weirdo, I whispered with a smile. No way. You can say whatever you want, but your pregnant body is the hottest thing I've ever felt in my entire life. I shivered because it was true. I'd been on fire for the past 4 months, well, between bouts of sickness, but in the sack, my God, these hormones made me wild. My phone rang again, shaking me out of what would possibly have ended in someone getting oral sex. And if it had been anything like the last time, that someone would have been me. I thought that part was so good I think I don't have any kids myself, but I find like pregnant bodies so beautiful, and so I just liked that section.
That's great. It's great, and it's charming, and it's like it just has character. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you let me pick this book because I love this book a lot.
Oh, I'm so glad you picked it. Yeah.
So I think it's really good. It's a great entry point for romance. Like I think it will give people. I think often when people are later in life, in their 20s and 30s, and have never read a romance novel and aren't really sure what to expect, they expect them to be like pervy
Mm-hmm.
and like cheesy. And this book is pervy, but like not cheesy. And also it's going to deliver the sex that you think that you're curious about, and also a story that I think you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I think the sex A+. I give the book an A. I did come up with a tagline. This one other tagline.
Tell me.
It's love is a civic duty.
Oh, very nice. I approve.
Okay.
I approve.
Okay, good. Did you come up with a tagline?
I didn't. I told you I did not, because I
Okay.
kept reading the back cover copy and I was like,
Oh,
no,
that's
they're,
right.
they're all here. But I will say my favorite thing about your podcast is the taglines.
Oh,
Because
yay.
I feel like all of romance should just listen to your podcast and then like write the books that are related to your taglines. You could, I'm not sure that you'd make very much money, but you could certainly do some good solid work.
That's
coming
true.
up with taglines.
I mean, I only work for bragging rights. Money means nothing. I'm married to a billionaire, so.
I was going to say, your husband's clearly a billionaire.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. I can't tell you just how much this means to me. It's going to mean so much to my listeners as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Becky. It was really fun.
These past 2 episodes with Sarah have been such a thrill, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. You can follow Sarah on Twitter at Sarah MacLean. Her podcast, Fated Mates, which discusses Cressley Cole's Immortals After Dark, is available where you get your podcasts. And I highly recommend checking out Sarah's historical romance series, Love by the Numbers, The Rules of Scoundrels, and her latest series, The Bare Knuckle Bastards. Guys, if you liked these past 2 episodes, I would be so appreciative if you left a review. Thank you so much for listening to Too Stupid to Live, and have a great rest of your day.